This next question to do with lattice enthalpy is more straightforward than it realizes. You get a lot of information given to you down here, and basically this is a typical scholarship question where it's something you are a little bit familiar with but you may not have been directly taught. You're given information and then expected to interpret it using kind of basic understanding that you should have. Now, for a start, you're introduced to a new concept, and that is electron affinity. And in this case, something you may not have been taught, but recognizing that if the reaction is typically written as it is shown here, and we're given, for instance, an enthalpy of 355 for chlorine in this case, that if we were to do the reverse process of that, basically adding an electron to a chlorine atom in the gas phase, we'd simply change the sign from positive to negative, and that's typical in enthalpy. Alright, let's have a look at the actual question. Now the question is asking us to calculate the enthalpy and to discuss the validity that this is going to be a spontaneous reaction. Alright, so if we look at the equation we've got sodium going to sodium positive here as an ion. I'm just leaving out the phases, and Cl gas going to Cl minus. So if we can calculate the enthalpy or work out the enthalpy for this whole reaction, it's just by breaking it down into these two. So what information from here gives us the numerical data? Now if we look at the sodium going to sodium plus, it's obviously the first ionization energy which we're given, which is 502. And chlorine going to chlorine minus. Now electron affinity is usually chlorine minus going to chlorine plus an electron. So if we're doing the reverse of this reaction, we simply have to change the sign to minus 355. Okay, so if we add those two together, we're going to get 502 and negative 355. That's going to 147 kilojoules. That's per mole. And that's positive. So if it's positive, that tells us that's endothermic. Now, we wouldn't expect it to be spontaneous in that case, so we should make a comment to that effect. Now, if this had been negative and exothermic, then we'd expect it to be a spontaneous reaction. Okay, so that's the first question there. Now, remember in scholarship, it is important to make some kind of linking statement to your actual answer to show you understand what that actual value means.